Hi, and welcome to episode 5 of the Aussie Tech Crypto, a show about cryptocurrency from an Australian viewpoint. I'm your host, Jason Oakley, and this is my co-host, Will Tomkinson. Hey, Will.
Good evening.
We got some stuff up and going finally, and we're streaming to the Twitches and stuff.
Yeah, it's all happening. I'll tell you what, lucky what happened last night didn't happen tonight. Half of Brisbane had no power last night, and massive storms come through. Largest ever blackout in
history,
including even the man-made power rollouts they had when there was the flooding and everything. There was more blackouts last night. There was over 240,000 homes were affected last night.
Whoa!
250,000 homes. You. Well, not really. I had power. I just couldn't run everything that I'd normally run because I had more running than I would normally run because it was so
Solar
damn
and
hot.
Battery.
Well, yeah. I had plenty of power. Like normally, all my fridges and most of my house and everything runs on battery backup anyway. But because it was still so hot, we still had the fans on and still had a few other things on that I don't normally have on the solar. So it was okay. Let's just turn the computer off because it uses more power than just about everything else combined. My computer uses 650 watts at idle and 1100 watts when it's running. So,
well, you saw how much mine has when it's mining.
Yeah, but I've got 4 screens. See, that's actually what does it. It's the screens. The system itself only uses about 150 watts, I think, at idle, but with the 4 monitors, it's 650. So
I've only got 2.
Yeah, so I could have turned the screens off, or I'll just turn them all off and use the laptop I'll struggle with one screen and a laptop for the night.
We mentioned the elephant in the room. Striker is watching. Yes, maybe he does need an Elon Musk battery farm like South Australia has. He's done it himself, so he doesn't need that one.
Just to prove that I'm not mucking it. There's a battery there that I was running my modem off last night. And it went flat, literally, like, when I messaged you saying I was rebooting the router.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that went flat. And that's been on for, 24 hours. And it went flat, just as I was about to start the show.
Well, doing a good job.
So, I forgot I had it on. I left it on all day while I was at work.
Oh dear.
So it's been fun between that and finally getting my car and then getting the flu on Thursday and going back to work today. It's been great.
Oh, dude, you don't do things by half, do you?
Like the hottest 4 days we've had on history since I got the flu.
Yep.
So if I cough during the show,
you're supposed to get the flu in winter, not summer, you idiot.
Well, it doesn't know what it's doing. We had 4 nights. It dropped down to 12 or 13 degrees. And then the days, the 12-degree nights, and they were 43-degree days. That's just an insane swing.
It's ridiculous.
No wonder you're getting crook. So if I cough and sputter and carry on into the mic, I'm sorry. I'll try not to, but I can't guarantee I won't.
Each week we hope to bring you interesting information about the crypto world and what it's all about from a newbie perspective. Overclocking your nVidia.
Overclocking your what now?
Some of the stuff we'll be talking about tonight. Overclocking your nVidia card for mining, how do mining algorithms work, and more. But first, some crypto news. So I got caught with this one, so I thought it is hot on everyone's mind at the moment. Italian cryptocurrency exchange BitGrail announced it lost 17 million Nano cryptocurrency, XRB, formerly known as RaiBlocks, currently worth over $170 million. The company did not use the word hack to describe the incident, but in a statement on its website, it said that internal checks revealed unauthorized transactions. BitGrail owner Francesco the Bomber Ferrano said on Twitter that the company cannot refund all customers as it's currently in possession of only 4 million Nano, valued from around $40 million. Only Nano cryptocurrency was lost in the incident and no other cryptocurrency was stolen. So had I left my Nano there as Bitcoin that I changed it to temporarily, as I mentioned last week, I might have been okay, but it's gone. Bye-bye my investment.
Well, you might get it back. They might be lucky enough to find it.
We'll see. The money disappeared from BitGrail's own wallets, where it's normally stored after users deposit Nano in their BitGrail accounts. Frono accused the Nano team on Twitter of not wanting to collaborate to get to the bottom of things. The Nano team answered in a scathing blog post on Medium. From our preliminary investigation, no double spending was detected on the ledger, and we have no reason to believe the loss was due to an issue in the Nano protocol. The problems appear to be related to BitGrail software. The Nano team also published transcripts of their recent conversations with Furano and said they notified law enforcement authorities. BitGrail also contacted authorities shortly after. While many users are adamant that BitGrail has exit scammed, Francesco maintains the site was hacked. It has been alleged that the stolen XRB has been gradually transferred from this BitGrail wallet to Mercatox and getting dumped for months. There's also rumours that BitGrail became insolvent following a withdrawal bug that was discovered by some users and then shared in Discord and other chat groups, causing the wallet balance to gradually diminish. One user explained there was a bug on BitGrail where if you placed 2 orders, you got double balance added to your account. You could then withdraw while the orders were up and steal the coins. You had negative balance in the end, but you could just make a new account. In a statement published on February 9, the Nano team wrote, "We now have sufficient reason to believe that Furano has been misleading the Nano core team and the community regarding the solvency of the BitGrail exchange for a significant period of time. Whatever the truth, BitGrail users have zero chance of getting their crypto back." And just before the show started, I was reading a Nano developer has commented on Reddit about how BitGrail was incorrectly implementing the Nano protocol. Essentially, there were 2 ways to use it. One was for making simple interfaces or wallets. The second was a more secure way for exchanges. And the Nano developer said there's no issue with Nano. There never was. All the issues BitGrail ever ran into was their own doing because they didn't take the time to think of how to implement the node properly, just how to get it done. Qcoin, unfortunately, fell victim to the same thing, but they made things right and fixed their issue immediately. Francesco swept it under the rug and is now attempting to FUD Nano and the core development team in an attempt to save himself. Let the buyer beware, say la vie and all that sort of stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, look, is it any different to a credit union or a private institution saying, "Oh, what, you left us $1 million? No, you didn't. Don't be silly."
Yeah.
Like, it kind of scares people because they hear cryptocurrency involved in the situation, but it's no different to real world what happens every day. It's exactly the same thing. In actual fact, it's probably less surprising at this stage it happens with crypto because it's a new technology. It's still, as this proves, still prone to whether you want to call it a bug, whether you want to call it misuse, whether you want to call it an error, whatever. It's still prone to that happening. And whether it's human error or whether it's programming error, it's no different than the real world. When, you know, I've remember once I opened up an account with ANZ, literally opened it up, put my minimum $50 or whatever it was in there required to open the account, walked out the front to the ATM, take my $50 out, got a phone call about a minute and a half later saying, "You owe us $550, we're suspending your account."
What?
Like, I'm still standing at the bank, like I'm still standing in front of the bank. You tell me, I walked from the teller to the ATM and back to the teller so I could do some more paperwork and stuff. Got a phone call from the bank whilst I'm at the teller saying I now owe them $550.
Nice try.
So whilst I was at the teller, I then closed my account. So I'm having
Well, if that's what you're going to be like.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I've had my account open for 3 minutes and I owe you $550. No. So I guess my point is, you know, it seems like a huge thing, but it's no different than what happens every day. The difference is because it's just a hot topic right now, it's suddenly, you know, but that's the thing with crypto. It's no different than giving somebody a bundle of cash and say, "Here, make some money on this," because if they lose that, you're not getting that back either.
No.
So
a lot of some of the exchanges have got insurance I was reading up on, but obviously this one didn't. At least I don't feel too bad. I only had 5.8 XRB or Nano in there, which amounted to probably $170 Australian all up. Whereas I was reading on Reddit, there's a guy who lost 147,000 Nano, which is $1.4 million in the BitGrail hack.
Yeah, I don't feel so bad for him. If he can afford to have it, he can afford to lose it.
That's what everyone said. But at least I didn't lose that much. Comfort myself with that.
And that's the thing. Like it's one of those things. It is probably going to happen. It's probably going to happen more and more as.
Well, that's the fourth exchange that's been hacked so far.
And I'd be curious to see. I mean, it's all fine to say store your crypto on your hardware wallets, but if the algorithms become damaged, then it doesn't matter if you've stored the crypto on your hardware wallet. You're still not going to be able to get it back because it's not physically in existence anymore. You know, so
they're very complicated things.
They are, and the thing is, like, there is insurance, as I was talking about a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure there was insurance available, but I can't see it paying out on something like that straight up. They would say, look, it's a issue with this company, or, you know, like every insurance company ever, they're not going to just hand over
they don't want to pay.
You know, because to start with, you've got to prove that you had it.
Yep.
Now, how do you prove you've had it when the exchange you had it on no longer has the value of what you had? So
all transactions,
which you can't do because the nature of crypto is it's not traceable. Really, I mean, you can say what's been in and out of your wallet, assuming your wallet's still active and current and working.
Yep. But how do you prove you didn't just spend it or send it somewhere yourself?
That's exactly right. So
also, there's controversy in the crypto community after one of the founders of a prominent wallet service for storing and sending cryptocurrencies abruptly announced a rival venture. Taylor Monahan, who started MyEtherWallet.com, it's a very popular wallet, with Kosala Hemachandra in 2015, announced a new company and wallet service called MyCrypto.com on Thursday. MyCrypto.com is initially a forked version of MyEtherWallet, but the company said it will launch an enhanced version of the website soon. Desktop and mobile apps are set to arrive in the coming months. Hemachandra has not moved over and remains committed to MyEtherWallet, which is a community-driven service. He retains the access to its GitHub repository domain and Amazon Web Service instances. Monahan added the following in a post. MyEtherWallet will continue to be online until it, for whatever reason, is not online, as we do for a number of products. You like that?
It'll be online right up to the point that it's not.
Yeah. As we do for a number of products in this space, if we at any point determine the domain to be compromised, serving malicious code or otherwise detrimental to the community, we'll do what we can to warn the community and prevent use of the code base and website. However, we wish the best for MyEtherWallet and hope it continues to be a viable product in this space. Now, he's a bit upset because there was MyEtherWallet's Twitter account that the MyCrypto team renamed to MyCrypto all of a sudden without much notice. And now that's their Twitter account because they had to log in for it, and he had to create a new one, MyEtherWallet, and then prove that he was the real guy and everything. So MyEtherWallet has become a staple product for anyone in crypto. Token owners are frequently warned that exchanges susceptible to hacks like the $50 million coin check theft in January are not a place for storage. MyEtherWallet has arguably risen to be the go-to option for that. Compatibility with secure hardware from Trezor and Ledger makes it popular with more serious crypto enthusiasts too. Reasons for the split are not clear, but reading between the lines of what Monahan wrote, it appears that the two MEW founders had different visions for the future for the service, which began as a side project to both of their professional careers. So pick your team, MyEtherWallet versus MyCrypto, go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Round one, fight.
It's actually, yeah, talking about storing your wallet locally, and that the Australia guys community is absolutely insane. They've just released they're in beta limited testing release, but they've just released an iOS and an Android app now for Australia Coin, which does two things. One is it lets you transfer coins as you'd expect between people and people. Well, it does three things. The other one is it lets you set up. Literally, they've actually got in contact with Bunnings, and they're actually currently in communicate with them, trying to organise the
Sausage
sizzles to actually be crypto accessible. And it looks like Bunnings is actually going to accept that. So this app will actually let you pick your store you're at and when you're there and how much you want, and you literally send it across to them from the app. But the other
buy a sausage on your app.
Yeah, off from your Australia coins. But the other thing it's doing, and bear in mind this isn't listed in an exchange yet, so it's only worth currently what people are paying for it. The other thing they've done is they've got your wallet now stored on the phone. It stores it on the phone, but you have the option to send it to your Dropbox or your Google or whatever you want, so that it does a real-time update on a remote device as well. So it's storing it in multiple locations, and you can encrypt it if you want or not. It's up to you which way you want to do it. But I thought that was a really for something that's effectively worth nothing. It's literally a community building exercise at this point. They're worth about 20 cents a NAR at the moment, but like people are trading on the buy swap sell side. People are trading 5 and 10,000 blocks of these at a time, and people are buying. Yeah. So I'm going to hang on to my 200 because I got 200. I'm going to hang on to those for a while. But I just think
it was crazy. Apparently, they had a show recently to talk about Australia, and 60 Minutes turned up to try and ask them whether it's a scam and expose them on television.
Yeah. And yeah, well, it's funny because it was originally on like Today Tonight or something, just as a bit show, like a 30-second segment. Yep. I think Dave, his name is I have to double check, the founder of it, and he originally did it. It was always intended to be a joke, but a joke that would actually have some purpose. Yep. And as soon as this Today Tonight or whatever it was, as soon as this bit aired, within a couple of hours of this airing, they went from CPU hashing at some ridiculous rate to getting the ASIC miners in. Like, it just went absolutely nuts. So the
hang on, Striker said that was for Ozcoin, not Australia coin with 60 Minutes. So they'll get confused now. Ozcoin and Australia coin and
Ozcoin was supply ATMs. Yeah, that's right.
Ozcoin is the wheel supply ATM scam coin. Oh, yeah.
And
I read about that.
But it's just, and that I just find it fascinating. It's a really good way, because it's only new. It's only 2 or 3 weeks old. And everything's on their Facebook page. Everything's on their Reddit page. If you want to understand how a coin starts and progresses and the way it works, and I've learned more from just watching the progression of how this coin formed to what it is now than reading all the stuff I was reading. It got a bit lost on me, but actually seeing this progression and being involved in it. I said I've only got 200 coins, but that's enough to make me vested into it to see what's happening. And then they say, we're going to do this program. Who wants to see this? And then they go, okay, we're going to do the Android app now. If we do Android app, are we going to do this with it and this with it, and what options should we have? So the whole way through this process, the entire community is vested in it, and there's no
being built up.
There's no fiscal there's physically, like, I can't say, hey, I can, and this is happening a lot too. They're like, okay, it's 20 cents a coin currently. You can either pay me in Bitcoin, you can pay me in a different currency, or you can pay me if you want, or PayPal me. And so people are literally trading this money for real money, and it's not even a recognized coin. It's fascinating to watch.
Striker says, how about Dollary-Doos?
Dollary-Doos, yeah.
There's actually a Facebook page for Dollary-Doos coin, which is named after the Simpsons joke.
Well, that was originally going to be part of that with the Australia coin. They were going to release print notes and call them dollary dues. But then they found out that somebody was already doing it. So now they're actually 3D printing. And this is the other thing they do. They 3D print coins. And it's only, like, I think David or whoever the founder is, he's the only one doing it. And he prints them, and they're all different sizes. Like, so, and then there's like, they're made out of, I think, 3 different materials, and then there's 3 different sizes which use those materials. So each one of those stands for a different value. And then he serial numbers them all and keeps track of them all, and you can literally buy one for 50 Naira or whatever it is, and that's what that coin's worth. And so from then on, that's physical value to that.
That is crazy.
But it's going to be great. Yeah, you literally rock up to Bunnings. You haven't got the $2 change in the glove box anymore, but you can just rock up, send them with the app and go and buy your sausage. I think it's going to be the coolest thing. So that is the number one reason I originally got behind this coin. That
the picture of the coin is a beer can on the coin with a dollar sign on it.
And a thong on the other side. Beer can on one side, thong on the other side.
Good. Okay. Brilliant. Then.
But no, yeah, that's it. I just can't believe it. It's such a fascinating thing.
Next segment then, coin of the week. We're not recommending purchasing it, just explaining what it is and what it can be used for, particularly if it has good world use. POWR, POWR. POWR Ledger aims to provide a decentralized marketplace for the peer-to-peer exchanging of electricity. For example, you are currently allotted a certain amount of electricity by the power companies in your area. What happens to that excess power if you do not use it at all? Is the profit of the electricity company as it's resold to the next customer of the power company. What POWR Ledger is trying to do is establish a system that creates complete transparency of exactly how much power you're using. Any electricity left over provides you, the owner of that electricity, the ability to resell your excess energy to your neighbours. It's truly going to change the world of electricity and the way we view power in general forever. In the most recent light of the company's news, the Australian government has awarded an $8 million grant to POWR Ledger to fund the development of the new technology and system that POWR Ledger is creating.
Yeah, but it's okay. They took the funding from the NBN to pay for it, so...
Probably. The project, which involves academic, infrastructure, and technology partners, will assess how cities can use blockchain technology and data analytics to integrate distributed energy and water systems. The federal funding comes as part of the government's inaugural Smart Cities and Suburbs program, which aims to solve practical problems. The project will also be supported by the Australian Energy Market Operator, AEMO, Western Power, and the CRC for Low Carbon Living. The trial will involve highly resilient, low-carbon and low-cost systems installed and connected using blockchain technology. A large solar photovoltaic plant, rooftop solar PV panels, a precinct-size battery, an electric vehicle charge station, and precinct water treatment and capture systems will be orchestrated using the blockchain technology and data analytics and just demonstrate the interconnected infrastructure of future smart cities. POWR, power to Bitcoin value. So one power is worth 0.00008667 US Bitcoins, and US dollars is about 75 US cents. And disclaimer, I have 70.9 power tokens. So
I didn't realize it until I just logged in that I actually have a handful.
You got some power.
Yeah, I didn't realize it either.
I got the power.
What I see being an issue with this, one is it's going to take forever for Australian companies to pick it up because they just like that. But the biggest issue I see, they want to use it for carbon trading, which means that businesses are going to get involved, which is going to really mess with the associated value of that. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as you get a business trading tens of thousands of anything, it really screws up with the average person's ability to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think some stuff's great, like electric vehicles, for example. So I'll give you an example. Like, okay, I run solar during the day when we're not home. All that power I'm not using because I'm already running solar and batteries to run my fridges. So all the solar I generate off my solar panels from my grid, I could sell back to the power company. It also then technically means if I come home with my Camry hybrid and I park it up, and it's fully charged, technically there's nothing stopping me from selling the power from that battery pack back into the grid as well.
Oh, okay.
So stuff like that. So it's going to be great. But yeah, I think it's going to be, once it takes off, it'll be, don't get me wrong, I think it's a brilliant idea. I just think once companies and corporations get involved, it's
yeah. We're trying to get away from them.
Yeah, you're kind of going, you're getting back into a mainstream sort of deal again, which is the whole point you're trying to get away from. But yeah, the biggest issue I see is Australia companies just going to look at it and go, yeah, right, we'll see that in 10 years.
Yep.
I mean, there is a peer-to-peer network side of it, which apparently is starting to, like a lot of the microgrid stuff. So like literally neighbourhoods of people are getting together and trading within their own sort of
especially
area.
excess solar.
But
which is way better than getting the feed-in credit of microcents, really.
Well,
12 cents per kilowatt hour is
I guess it depends on, well, a standard is 18 cents or 22 cents, I can't remember, but it's not a lot. But I guess it depends. 12, no, 16, I think, isn't it? Just went up. That's something, and anyway, it's not much, it's bugger all.
Tell it to your neighbours.
Well, at the moment, see, this is the issue, because most houses around me have small solar panels the same as I do, just for grid tie during the day.
Yep.
So they're all making excess power during the day, but nobody's got power overnight. I'm the only one who has excess power overnight. Yep. So daytime currency is worth nothing. You know what I mean? Like, because everybody's generating a similar amount of power, so
needs to be stored.
I think for it to be, you would need to start storing energy, because I can imagine it being a similar situation where I want to buy the coins from you, but at the time I want to buy them is during the day when everybody's generating them, so they're not worth anything, so I don't really want to sell them to you. Overnight, when you need them, I want to sell them to you because you need them, but you're not going to pay the extra price for buying them because now they're worth more.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Striker was just sharing a link from reneweconomy.com.au. Power Ledger has been trialed by Origin Energy.
Yeah, I had actually seen on their website, but I hadn't heard that.
It says that households can save $600 a year on electricity bills using Power's peer-to-peer trading.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything like that. The trial I'm reading about involved 10 households with about 20 people.
That's it. Yep.
But like, it doesn't say, are they average users? Are they big users? Are they small? Like, there's no information. It's kind of saying, hey, look, if you go off-grid completely, you can save $1,000 a year. Yep. It's like some information would be handy. But basically saying at the moment, if you've got surplus solar energy, you sell it back for a low feed-in tariff and buy it back from the grid. Using Power Ledger, you can sell it to your neighbour at somewhat between the two, which is what I was just saying. But that's kind of, as I said, like if they've got power the same time you've got power, it'll literally be a currency that fluctuates day to night rather than during the day. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fantastic. I just think it needs to have a little bit more
more testing and more info.
My thing is, okay, for it to work, in that regard, it means everybody would have to have a smart meter installed. And then everybody who has a smart meter installed would have to have access to their smart meter, which is the thing, because most smart meters that are installed, only the power companies have access to them. So how do you know? Like, I know because my box tells me that I'm producing best part of 20 kilowatts a day, but how do I know what I've sold, what I haven't, what I've still got spare, and then what happens if it's cloudy and I oversell? You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be some sort of way to do that. And I can't see power companies going, oh, you want to be part of the trial, you want to be part of that, no worries, here, have a brand new power meter that you have access to, and you can look at all the things that we don't want you to see at the moment because we're ripping you off. There's just a few little bits and pieces to it that I've tried to look into, and the information just isn't available.
Yep. Hopefully we'll get some of it this year then.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for it to become an actual thing. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Cool. And we'll have a quick go through our main topic, overclocking your NVIDIA card. I've decided to finally do a bit of testing with this. So overclocking a mining GPU is a staple of mining cryptocurrency. It's almost a guarantee that if you're mining any type of coin, overclocked GPUs are in play. It's also possible you found it to be very frustrating to do. One could consider it much like tuning a car. There's almost as much art that goes into it as there is science. Cards can be finicky. Certain GPUs come with better or worse memory, even with the same run of cards. Some lower-end cards cheap out completely on memory, resulting in inferior card for mining purposes. Some cards simply can't be cooled when overclocked because the stock cooler was not designed to carry any extra thermal capacity, resulting in instability of the GPU at even the slightest overclock setting. Overclocking can help you squeeze a few more sols per second out of your card. MSI Afterburner is a popular application for overclocking, and there are others out there, but that's what I've used. I'll put the screenshot of that onto our website, AussieTechCrypto.com, if you want to see what the MSI Afterburner looks like once I've tuned mine. I could possibly even turn the core clock and memory clock up a bit more, but it's doing about 500 sols per second, which is apparently pretty much good for 1070 Ti cards. So I usually expect about 500, so I'm happy it's nice and stable there. The options it's got, core voltage. This controls the voltage input of the core GPU. Lower voltages may use less power. Generally, leave this one alone. The power limit controls the max power the GPU is allowed to consume. You can usually get away with setting this between 65% to 85% without reducing performance. Temperature limit sets the maximum temperature of the GPU before throttling or shutdown occurs. Core clock in megahertz, the core GPU speed can usually be set to minus 75 or minus 100 without affecting performance. Memory clock, this is the most important setting for mining. Some cards can go as much as 800 megahertz. And the fan speed, generally leave this on auto and let the GPU decide. Higher settings may reduce fan life. So you'll be able to see in the screenshots.
Yes, high settings are going to reduce the life of your brushless fan, yeah.
I don't know, I just got this from Reddit, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see mine is running at 1657 megahertz up to 4452. Power limit has been reduced to 67%, so I'm not chewing too much power for it. Temperature limit at 68 degrees. Core clock at plus 205 and memory clock plus 650. And originally the fan was on auto and was sitting about 60%, and the temperature was 82 degrees. So I turned the fan up to 90%. Now it sits around 60 degrees, which is much nicer than 82 degrees for your graphics card.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a 10, what have you got, what card?
1070 Ti.
1070, yeah. So you've got a high-spec card. Now, you can mine whatever you want to throw at it. Now, I'm running older cards. I'm running AMD Radeon R7 200 series. So they're an older card. They're a 5-year-old card now. They still have their purpose for some mining. I can mine Ethereum and stuff like that without a problem. But its default memory clock is 780 for the GPU, and the default memory is 900 meg. Now I have noticed with these cards I can bump them up to 950 meg, so that's 200 meg above factory, and I can go to 1 gigahertz in the memory, so that's 100 meg up with absolutely no... The easiest way to tell if your card's getting close to the limit is, for example, if you move your mouse cursor or you move icons or something around on the desktop, you start getting what they call...
My whole screen had these black checkerboard all over the place. Or I was like, that might be a bit too high.
Or you'll get like blittering or jittering, so you'll get like parts of the image staying behind. So if you start to see that, you're getting
tearing
past your, so you're getting past your limit. But I can run that at, as I said, I can run them at 950 and 1000 with no problem at all. Put my power control, leave it at 0. I don't need to increase that at all. And I bump my fan speed up to 100%, just leave it at 100%, because the fans aren't that big, they're only fairly small, so they don't make any noise difference, given that I've got a massive big fan on my water cooling for my CPU, which makes more noise than anything else. So, and yeah, I notice like I get an increase. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I've got 4 cards. I get about a probably close on 20% increase on all cards.
Yep.
So I get a
Worth a go.
overall 80% increase in my mining speed. Um,
And that
for
ain't
s- you
nothing.
know, well, it's the difference between like okay, as I said, I'm doing Ethereum. I have slower cards, so I'm due about when they're standard, I do about $1.10, $1.15 a day, $1.20 a day. When they're
Yep.
all overclocked, I can do as much as $2 a day.
Yep.
So bear in mind you got to take out power costs, but I said I run mine during the day off the solar, so it doesn't cost me anything.
No
But
problems.
you know, for the sake of bumping up a few settings, the cards don't get hot. They still stay at about 65 degrees. So I'm not going to decrease the life of my cards. I'm not going to damage anything. I'm not drawing more power than my power supply can handle. That's the thing you got to watch too when you
If anyone
overclock.
knows anything about power, it's you.
That's the other thing you got to watch too when you're overclocking is you don't overclock your card to the point where your power supply can't keep up. Especially if you've got an off-the-shelf system, a lot of the time the power supplies are matched to the point where they're pretty much on the limit reliably straight out of the box, and you overclock anything and you run into to temperature issues, and you run into the easiest way to if you've got a passive card that doesn't have a fan on it, which my card, the AMD Radeon R7 200 series, actually came out as a passive card as well. I got the active ones for this exact reason, but you can get the passive ones that don't have the fans on them. The easiest way to avoid heat issues on that, take the side of the case off and blow a desktop fan into it. And that'll move enough air around the case to eliminate your overheating issues.
Yep. The mining software I've been using recently is Nemo's Miner, which has been tuned to NVIDIA cards, especially the 1070s, 1080s, and the TIs of both of those. It seems to run really well. The coins I've got it set to algorithms I've got set to mine coins for Equihash, ETHash, Lyra 2 Revision 2, Lyra 2Z, and NeoScript. That seems to be quite good ones for mining with NVIDIA 1070 Ti's. And I did have a few others in there, which it comes with by default, but you end up with having like 10, 15 different little coins, and a lot of them drop in value quickly, and you just, because you're switching so often, you don't get your workers to discover the coins quite as easily. You need to limit what you're mining for. So those the algorithms that I've cut mine down to, and it seems to do quite well.
So you got to watch it too. I mean, I use Awesome Miner, and it has this really great thing where you can go through, look at the coins, and look at what you can mine on each coin. But it doesn't really do a good job of weighing up the difficulty versus the hash rate. Sometimes it gets it a bit wrong. So some coins, it looks like you might do $10 a day, but when you actually start mining it, you're only doing 10 cents a day because it hasn't quite got the balance right. But what it does mean is that you can literally just click on the coin you want it to mine. You can let it do its own thing, and it's not bad at it. But as I said, like with mine, I switched to Equihash, and it doubled what I was earning when it wanted to do Pascal, is what it was trying to do by default. So sometimes, you play with your settings, play with it, figure out what works for you. Yeah, I mean, I've had no trouble with Awesome Miner. I run it on a couple of different systems. I run on this one and the work computer, which sits there and does nothing all night.
My old PC that was my main one that we used to do this show on is now running Awesome Miner every day.
Yeah.
It seems to do okay. It's got one AMD Radeon 7800 HD card in there. I think it can do $1 a day by itself, which is not too bad. So,
which doesn't, it's okay, and it's not costing you anything during the day to do that.
No, because the solar's running. So what do I care?
Yeah, exactly, and that's $1. End of the month, you get $30 for doing nothing.
Yeah. Striker says he's running two 1080 Ti's at the moment. His first miner, he's buying he's got frames, and his first miner is going to end up with 6 1080 Ti's running at once. And he's got a third card, but his power supply is too small to run it, but his stuff's on order. So I think he's going to end up with a couple of rigs running 6 or 5 or 6 1080 Ti's.
And that's something interesting we'll probably talk about in a couple of weeks too. It has come to my attention recently in my computer store locally are starting to sell mining rigs. But I want to, in a couple of weeks, sit down once I get a bit more time to do homework and look at the exact hardware configurations. I want to talk about the pros and cons of buying an off-the-shelf mining rig versus assembling one versus, a dedicated rig versus whatever, and see if the cost effectiveness is there, because some of the prices they seem to be charging for these things, to me, for what they're offering, I don't think
they used to be a lot more affordable, and then mining became popular, and suddenly they can make it 10 times the price and people will buy it.
Yeah, and this is something that, and same with video cards. I shared with Jason earlier, there's a new card coming out. But just because it looks great on paper doesn't necessarily mean it's going to perform as well as people hope it's going to perform, and people are going to fork out a lot of money for this new card. Maybe not so much in return. So that's in the next couple of weeks. We want to sort of talk about the hardware side of it and do's and don'ts.
Do a lot of research online before buying your stuff.
Yeah.
Some of them have got DDR 5X. Apparently the 5X memory is a little bit laggy for mining, but the 5 is good. So see if you could get a 1080 Ti with the 5 and not the 5X memory in it.
And the other thing we sort of want to weigh up is get a rough idea of power consumption versus, obviously cost. If it's cost effective to even do it, it may not be, depending on where you live and what you're paying for power. So that's something hopefully we can clarify. So keep following us, keep listening and watching, and
we'll have to talk to you about that, because I've been reading posts about how Australia's got one of the highest charges for electricity in the world, especially compared to America in some places.
We are horrendous.
Mining is terrible.
Not only do we have one of the most expensive power costs in the world, we have one of the least effective power grids in the world. So, and that's the other thing you've got to watch too. I'll probably talk about this on the same show, is how to protect your investment in terms of looking after it with power surges and dirty power and lightning strikes and all this sort of stuff that can give you issues, brownouts, all these sort of problems that can cause any computer problems, but particularly computers that are working really hard, they really suffer from these sort of things.
Yep. Just a quick wrap up. The mining algorithms, I found some info on Reddit as well. Mining algorithms. Step 0, retrieve the hash of the previous block from the network. Step 1, gather a list of potential transactions known as a block. This list of transactions comes from the peer-to-peer Bitcoin network. Step 2, calculate a hash for a block with potential transactions along with a random number. Step 3, if the hash is more than the currently set difficult, then you have mined that block. If not, start over from step 1. Any additions to the list of transactions from step 1 along with the change in the random number from step 2 means that there's a chance the criterion will be met in the next go round. But there you go, just a quick.
Another thing too, just we're talking about the Power Ledger, the Power coins. I just had a quick look on them. They're basically Australian dollar. They're basically dollar for dollar at the moment. And one coin's $1. And it has been dropping over the last few days. It peaked at about $1.15. It's down to about 98 cents now, 97 cents Australian. So it's probably not a bad time to buy for you if you're looking at that.
Anyway, that'll probably do for our show. It's been an hour, so don't forget to visit our website at aussietechcrypto.com. Send us an email from the Contact Us form there, or jump onto our Discord. There's a link there on the website to talk to us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
This show is a part of the Aussie Tech Heads podcasting network. You can listen to us at aussietechradio.com. We're not licensed advisors, so please don't invest your life savings in anything we say on the show. You can contact us at feedback@aussietechcrypto.com. Visit the website aussietechcrypto.com. Thanks for listening to Aussie Tech Crypto. Tune in each week for more fun and information.